Now let me get to another specific image in this same discussion, because it's part of what people have asked, is that they seem to believe that the book of Revelation is pointing towards this one world government that's coming, and it's in our future, and we should watch out for it. But there's a very specific answer to that found in the book. So let's talk about that. Is Revelation telling us that there is a coming one world government?
No, he's not saying there's coming a one world government. John was living under a one world government who had put him in prison on an island. The people were being persecuted by a one world government. It was called the Roman government, and they were really good at ruling the whole world. And so no one in their day looked at that and go, oh my goodness, there's coming a one world government that would be bad. They got that what John was saying is there is a one world government, and it's not bad because it's a one world government. It's bad because it's a government that is turned against God.
Right.
Now, there's parts of that you have to get to. How could that apply to me? Well, I think ultimately he's getting at the fact that he calls it Babylon. We know he's talking about Rome.
That's right.
That all human governments eventually become this form of Babylon. All human governments that are set up, and eventually power corrupts, people get in power, all of them eventually turn to a place that they become evil. And John's saying, hey, you should just watch out putting your trust in one world governments. And remember, none of them win anyway. God eventually wins in the end. Jesus is the victor in that. That's the clear teaching of the book of Revelation, is that all this stuff that you think they have power, they put me in prison, they got you under their thumb, they're not going to win. And neither is any other government in the future.
Right. And I wish that's what people would do, is they would really focus in on those last 2 to 3 chapters of the book, because that's where he finally gets to that point right there. And that's when you see, the Jesus coming in power and overthrowing all of this, and then of course, that's a whole other topic I don't want to get into, but he brings in images that take us all the way back to Eden, to the beginning, and it's this tree image, and just like the tree in the garden, and a river, and everything comes back to what it was in the book of Genesis. And what he's saying is God is going to make all things right again. What once was, before sin corrupted the world, he's bringing it to pass. And if you just hang on, don't give your allegiance to this power that you think is ruling over the day right now. That will only last for a season. Jesus wins, we win, and the world will be made right again. That's really what he's trying to tell us.
Well, and it really is the then conclusion of the Bible as one narrative story, which is really the story of the Bible is God creates a kingdom in the beginning, and he's in charge, and he's ruling. And the rest of the pages from that to Revelation is we keep trying to make our own kingdoms. And often it very much is us ruling in physical governments, and we're trying to take over things, and we're trying to, I want to be in charge, and I want to make the world in my image and the way I want it to be. Then when Jesus comes and he says, I've come to bring the kingdom of God, he means I've come to put God back in control of you. And if you do it and other people do it, eventually there's coming a day where the kingdom of God comes in this full kind of way where it's fully back, and it's back to like it is in the beginning. And I heard one person say, and I think this part of what you said, I think is relevant to today, of where you talked about of all human governments becoming like Babylon. I think the part of that that's huge is, and we see this, and I think all of you see it too, of politics in our world becoming almost this religious aspect for many people, that we believe the world's going to get made right when the right person, and what I mean by the right person is my person. My person gets in charge and does stuff. And I heard somebody say this, I thought it was great, is all of our attempts to rule things is us trying to get the kingdom without the king. I want the kingdom, all the things God promises, a world full of peace and full of justice, and where all these things are. But I don't want him to be in charge. If I can do it where I still get to be in charge, but that's impossible. That's the nature of what Revelation is. There is coming a time where all the peace you long for and the justice you long for, it will come, but it's coming when Jesus comes to rule. And so anyway, I think that part, if that's what you want to take from this and hold on to it, that is a timeless truth, but it still comes through that lens.
Ultimately, apocryphal literature has a lot of stuff going on in it, but it is trying to teach one big point.
Apocalyptic literature.
Did I say?
You said apocryphal. I just wanted to make sure no one took that.
I'm sorry, not apocryphal. Apocalyptic literature is painting a picture toward one big image. It's not trying
Yes.
to teach a whole bunch of little things. It's trying to give us a big overarching principle. And the big overarching principle is, I know you're in persecution. It's why the sevens roll in these series, and they're just really, it's one picture rolling several times. It's just the same thing looking at it from, he's trying to tell this one picture. You overthrowing God won't ultimately succeed, whether it's a government or you and your family or you personally. God's going to reign and rule, and the only way, what you should take of that is, I need to give him control of my life. I need to continue to stand under his reign and rule instead of try to take it away.
Yep.
So that's the one world government thing.
All right.